Before we begin, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to everyone for being a part of today's program. As it's my honor to be the moderator for today, I, Bishali Khati from IPR Department would like to warmly welcome the chief guest for today, Honorable Minister Education, Shri Kunga Nima Lepcha sir, Dr. Kuldeep Agarwal, Conference Chairperson and Chairperson of Board and Open Schooling and Skill Education, Sikkim, Shri Hemant Goyal, Sir, Conference Chief Patron and Group Chairman, BOSSE Group, Mrs. Asano Sikhoz, Conference Co-Chairperson, President COBSE and Chairperson Nagaland Board, Shri MC Sharma, General Secretary, COBSE, other officials and participants. The Council of Boards of School Education of India, COBSE, is an annual event that is being celebrated for the 52nd year today. COBSE is a voluntary association for all the boards of school education in India. It works in close collaboration with Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India, other national level apex educational organizations and agencies like the National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, NIEPA, and National Council of Teacher Education, NCTE. The major function is to provide a forum for its members to discuss issues of mutual interest and to learn from each other for improving quality of education. Similarly, the mission of the Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education is to contribute to the universalization of school education by providing inclusive, flexible, quality school education for life and livelihood, imparting vocational skills along with academic education for sustainable development of nation and society. Therefore, today, BOSSE Sikkim has organized a national conference on the theme Implementing NEP 2020, Role of Education Boards in collaboration with COBSE. I may now request the Honorable Minister Education, Shri Kunga Nima Lepcha sir, and our esteemed dignitaries to inaugurate the program by lighting the ceremonial lamp.
आप रिलीज करवाएंगे क्या बुक्स तो बुक्स जो रिलीज
A retired educational administrator and currently president of Society of Art, Culture and Education, SPACE, an individual who has been a part of the highest policy-making group in the country as director, NIOS, delivered innumerable lectures for teachers in many schools. I now take this honor to request Dr. Kuldeep Agarwal, Conference Chairperson and Chairperson of Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education, Sikkim, to kindly deliver the welcome address for today.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, I hope you are all doing very fine. Honorable Minister, Shri Hemant ji, Ms. Asano, COBSE President, and COBSE Secretary. I welcome all those who are sitting on this side of on the dais and all those who are sitting on that side. The Honorable Minister was instrumental in getting the Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education in place. It is the brainchild of the minister and his team that this board came into existence in October 2020. The act was passed by the Sikkim Assembly and it was notified on 8th of October. So, sir, we are very thankful to you. We are your baby and you have to look after us. Shri Hemanji is the chief patron of this conference and he is also the chairman of the group, the BOSSE group. He runs 5 universities also. And he is the private partner with the government of Sikkim who is running this board. So, Hemanji, I welcome you here and thank you for being the chief patron and for taking BOSSE ahead as you have done. I welcome Ms. Asano Sekhos. She is the chairperson of Nagaland Board of School Education. She is currently the president of COBSE, Council of Boards of School Education. Of course, COBSE is the conglomeration of all the boards in the country, and she is heading it right now. And this is the 52nd Annual Conference of COBSE, which we have the privilege of hosting here at Gangtok this year. So, Ms. Asano, I welcome you. And of course, we are partners, I shouldn't say in crime, but we are partners in the conference. So, I welcome you. Shri M.C. Sharma, who has earlier been the controller of examinations in CBSE, and now, after retirement, he is secretary of COBSE. And the secretary of COBSE is an ongoing position, unlike the position of the president. So, Shri M.C. Sharma is the one who looks after the affairs of COBSE. Everyday affairs, he looks after of COBSE. I welcome you, Sharma ji. And it was very good that we collaborated, we partnered in this conference. And I'm sure this conference will go off very well. Now we have some resource persons whom I would like to welcome in by name. The chairpersons of the different sessions we have Professor K.M. Gupta, who is a former professor of NCERT. Professor K.M. Gupta was in the Department of Teacher Education. He has been in the Department of Assessment and Evaluation. He has been in the Department of Elementary Education. And he retired, of course, many years back from NCERT, but he is still very active. Even though he retired about 14 years back. He is still very active in academics, and he is sharing one session. In fact, the first session where the keynote session is the first session which he will be chairing. The co-chair for that session will be Dr. D.D. Reddy, Director of Government Examinations, Board of Secondary Education, Andhra Pradesh. And the keynote speaker, she was not able to come, but she will do it online. And she is right now she is the head of the Department of Survey Division in NCERT. The department which looks after the evaluation, assessment and evaluation. And she is heading the project called Parak. All of you must be aware of that Parak. All the boards. They have been holding workshops with all the boards. She is the head of Parak, which has been set up very recently as a recommendation of the NEP 2020, the new policy that has come up into 2020. That policy, the National Education Policy, had recommended that a project like this be taken, and which will look after how the evaluation or assessment and evaluation has to be improvised on, has to be improved, and also equivalence of boards. All the boards should be on the same page, should be have common standards. So Parak is the project that is doing this work, and she is heading that project. She could not come because she had important meetings in the ministry, but today she said she will take out time. At 12 o'clock, she will deliver the keynote address. The theme of the keynote address is transformation of assessment practices and equivalence of school education boards. So you can understand this is the work that they are doing. Then the second session, which is on philosophy of NEP 2020, impact on curriculum and pedagogy, is being chaired by Mrs. Anita Devraj, who is a retired principal of DAV. And she is a member of our academic advisory committee and also the board of management. She has a long experience in the field of curriculum and pedagogy. She has been working with NCERT, she has been working with NIOS, she has been working with CBSE and other organizations like that. Then, of course, the next session is being chaired by Ms. Asano, and that session is on implementation of NEP 2020 by two school education boards. So the school education boards will make presentations in that session. The next session is on there is one presentation which will tell you about the international scenario right now. The chair of that session will be Dr. G. Emmanuel, Chairman of Council for Indian School Certificate Examination. And of course, you will get to know about PISA in that session, which is an OECD education initiative. The next session is on Bharatiya Gyan Pragya based education. This session will be chaired by Professor Parikshit Singh Manhas, Chairman of Jammu and Kashmir Board of School Education. And the main speaker in that is Professor M.K. Das, who retired from Kashi Vidyapeeth, Varanasi as Professor, Head and Dean of the Education Department. He has a long experience in the field of education, and he is also an expert on Buddhist studies, and so Bharatiya Gyan also. So he'll be the main speaker in that session. Then the next session will be on ensuring universal access to academic education and skill development, role of open school boards, open school education boards. This session will be chaired by Professor M.C. Sharma, who retired as, he was a professor in IGNOU, who retired as the Director of School of Education at IGNOU. And he also has a long experience in the field of open learning and being in IGNOU, and of course in general in education, in teacher education, he is an expert in that. So these are our main resource persons who will be contributing towards the academic excellence of this conference. And I'm sure with their guidance, we will be able to come out with meaningful and purposeful recommendations for the conference. The conference, the theme is, of course, all of you know, Implementing NEP 2020, Role of School Education Boards. So I'll not take much time. I'll just brief you about what we visualized when we thought of this conference. See, the new this NEP 2020 came out in October, I think October 2020, and around the same time as BOSSE took birth, Board of School Education, Open Schooling and Skill Education. And recently, I think a couple of months back or three months back, they have come out with NCERT has come out with the National Curriculum Framework 2023. At the time when we visualized this conference, that it had not come out in CF. So it was not mentioned in that concept note over there. But today we will talk about NCF 2023 also, because that is important. And as school education boards, all of us have the duty to implement NEP 2020 in such a manner, in an effective manner, in an efficacious manner, in such a manner that there is a transformation of the school education system, which is the main purpose of this new policy. So we as boards have a big role to play. And one thing I would like to mention, that earlier the Ministry of Education, Government of India never called, I've been with boards for many years. I was director of Haryana Education Board. I was director at NIOS. But the ministry has never called boards. This time they have called the boards, all of you know. There were 2 meetings in Ashoka Hotel in Delhi. And so now they are looking at the boards and giving them an important role to play. And the conference that we have visualized will, of course, deliberate upon ways and means of how boards can effectively implement this policy in letter and spirit. So that has to be done by the boards. In every state, the boards are the most important body in the field of school education, because the schools are regulated, and not only regulated by the boards, but also the boards have to work as, they have to be on the advisory role also. I'm reminded of the Amrik Singh report. I think it was 1993, Amrik Singh report. Amrik Singh was the chairperson of that committee. There was a committee to look into the functioning of the boards and recommend how the boards can become an important entity in every state, so that school education can be of quality. And the Amrik Singh report had recommended that education boards are not only examining bodies, but they are academic bodies, and if they are not, they should become academic bodies. And they should play the advisory role in every state, because the schools are under them in a way. The government, of course, has a role to play also, the government's Department of Education. But Department of Education, SCRT, and boards have to work in unison, have to work together, and think of how education can be taken to a level of quality. We all know that a lot is lacking right now, though we have progressed a lot since independence. We have done a lot of work in the field of education. We have progressed a lot, but there is a lot to be done now, still. So the boards have to take up this responsibility, and they cannot do it unless the Department of Education in the state is with them. And of course, the SCRT has also a role to play in that. The curricula have to be developed in consultation with SCRT, or SCRT does it itself, but boards have to be taken into confidence when the curricula are being framed. So all these three together will be able to implement this policy in letter and spirit. Alone boards cannot do anything, alone Department of Education cannot do anything, and alone SCRT cannot do anything. All three have to work in unison. So the purpose of this conference, the objectives of the conference that we had kept, of course, these are just broad, and discuss the important recommendations of NEP 2020 with respect to school education. Deliberate upon the way forward for implementing the NEP at schools, NEP 2020 at school stage. And bring out the role of all stakeholders, particularly school education boards. And I mentioned some other stakeholders also, the departments of education, SCRT, and under them the diets are there, and of course the schools and the teachers and the students, all are stakeholders. So education has to be brought to a level of quality, and this policy has been framed in such a manner that we can do it if we implement this policy in toto. So, and the suggested sub-themes I had thought of: NCF, National Curriculum Framework for School Education 2023. That is the first one, most very important. Curriculum and pedagogy in schools. Learning should be holistic, integrated, inclusive, enjoyable, and engaging. Bharatiya Gyan, Pragya, or knowledge wisdom based education, including promotion of Indian languages, arts, and culture. Transformation of assessment practices, which is very crucial for the boards. And that is why Professor Indrani Bhaduri, who has been invited to deliver the keynote address, she said she will not be able to come because she is busy with the ministry. So I said, you do it online, but you will have to do it. And then she agreed. Ensuring universal access to education at all levels, role of open school boards. Of course, when the policy talks about universal access, and for that, open school education boards are very important. Ensuring education for livelihood, skill, and vocational education. Ensuring equitable use and integration of technology, online and digital education, and education of Divyang children with special needs. Technology use and integration, and online and digital education. So these were the themes, sub-themes that we had thought of, but we will not be able to cover all these themes in this conference. I have read out to you what sessions are there. We have not been able to cover all of these themes, but still, within that, we can talk about it. And there will be a group work on the last day, where all of us will split into two and talk about implementation of NEP 2020, role of school education boards. That is where, after all the technical sessions have taken place, we have heard the experts and what they have recommended. Then all of us will sit together in two groups and think about specific recommendations, how it can be done, how the boards will do it. And then the second one will be conducting board examinations twice a year, which is a recommendation of the NEP 2020. Though I will talk about this later because already all the boards do it. But still, in meetings that I have attended with NCRT, we have to move towards semester education. We have to move towards more formative evaluation rather than only summative evaluation and things like that. So in this group, we will talk about those things also, connected with assessment and evaluation, which the keynote address will also be on that theme. So these will be the two groups which will work and present their reports. So I wish you all the best for the conference. I'm sure you will go back enriched and enthused to play a significant role in implementing the NEP 2020. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I may please call upon Mrs. Asano Sikhos, Conference Co-Chairperson, President COBSE, and Chairperson Nagaland Board for the introductory address for the program.
Most respected Honorable Minister School Education, Sri Kunga Nima Lepcha, respected Chairperson Board of Schooling and Skill Education Sikkim, Dr. Kudip Agarwal, respected Chief Patron Sri Heman Goyal, Group Chairperson BOSSE, respected General Secretary COBSE, MC Sharma, respected chairpersons, secretaries, directors, and officials from various boards in India, associate members from Cambridge, International Baccalaureate, Nepal, esteemed resource persons, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure I, on behalf of Council of Boards of School Education in India, welcome you all to the 52nd Annual Conference of COBSE. We are grateful to the Almighty God for keeping us safe and bringing us together to this beautiful place to have this annual conference at Gangtok. I'm grateful to the Honorable Education Minister for his gracious presence amongst us in spite of his extremely busy schedule this morning. Sir, your presence is indeed an encouragement to this August gathering. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all the dignitaries present, invitees, and media persons, officials from various boards, my dear students, teachers, principals. I would like to inform the participants, especially for those who are attending the conference for the first time, that the Council of Boards of School Education in India is a voluntary association of boards and councils of school education in India, established at the initiative of the Central Board of Secondary Education way back in 1979, 9th May 79. Though COBSE is not a statutory body, yet all its members are set up either by central or state government or authorized, recognized by central state government to conduct secondary and senior secondary examinations and award certificates. As of date, there are 70 members of COBSE, consisting of all national boards, state boards, Sanskrit and Madrasa boards. Further, there are associate members from the UK, USA, Singapore, Mauritius, Nepal, Bhutan, and Pakistan. One of the important activities performed by COBSE is to verify the genuineness and validity of certificates issued by various boards of school education. Another important activity carried out by COBSE is to organize annual conference on thematic issues involving all the members of the board, all the member boards and associate foreign boards. COBSE plays its role in other activities like reforms in examinations, development of curriculum, and design of question papers, sharing of experiences in academic matters, examination reforms and evaluation in schools, etc. And all these things are done through with collaboration with the boards in the meetings or in the conferences. It is appropriate and relevant to have the theme of role of education boards in implementation of NEP 2020 for this year's conference. With the launch of the new National Education Policy NEP in July 2020, there is a paradigm shift to bring about changes in the assessment by focusing on the competency-based education and competency-based assessment to evaluate the students' conceptual understanding, critical thinking, and problem-solving abilities, moving away from rote learning. The role of the school education boards in the implementation of the NEP 2020 is very crucial. It's very crucial in the sense that changes that we are going to implement at our level as to how the assessment should be done differently, as to how we do the assessment will determine the classroom transactions in our schools. Perhaps it is the right time for the assessment bodies, agencies, to relook at what we have achieved so far and work towards transforming the examination practices so that the learners' abilities are meaningfully assessed. I'm sure through the deliberations of this conference, the member boards will be enriched and the boards will implement the visions of NEP 2020 and bring about positive changes in our assessment practices and make examination more relevant for the learners. The 3-day conference is packed with relevant topics. Right after the inaugural session, we're going to have the keynote address on transformation and of assessment practices and equivalence of school education boards, and followed by technical sessions. I'm not going to dwell on the topics again. We have technical sessions on the first day, second day, and also we have the group discussions. The group discussions will be there again. And so the 3-day conferences will be a time for us to learn from one another and to move forward so that we can impart holistic education to our students in the light of the NEP 2020 and the NCF 2023. And that through our efforts, we will be able to fulfill the purpose of providing meaningful education to our children, and our children are equipped with the required skills, and they are made resourceful, and they become responsible citizens of the country. I hope all the participants will discuss the issues, the important issues in detail, and suggest necessary steps to be taken by the various boards. And I believe the deliberations of the conference will be treasured by everyone present today. Lastly, the Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education Sikkim have made excellent arrangements to make our stay comfortable. I, on behalf of all the participants, express my sincere gratitude to the Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education, Sikkim, for a very good job done in making us feel at home. Thank you.
Taking the program forward, now we have the release of special number of Sahodaya and telephone directory published by COBSE and curriculum booklet of BOSSE.
Should I see it?